the golf course, yes. But how about the other roads? How about in the industrial area? How about in the business district itself? Are the roads okay? I don't think so. But I'll check on my friends first, and then we will have this conversation. Good morning, Chirabo.
A lovely morning to you, and of course our viewers. Thank you so much for waking up with us. I just hope you really did enjoy your weekend, because personally, I did enjoy my weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, speaking of roads, when you're coming from where you stay, I believe you don't stay where God puts his feet. How are the roads looking like?
Well, I must say, we quite have fair roads. I stay in Machindia, and all the way from Zambia Hospital, if I'm to take you to that lane, they worked on it some years back. It has good drainage system. Then around Landstar, then you go to Chizungu, that side. Machindia, we are doing well, I must say, and there's a lot of road construction.
Good for you. That's nice.
Yes, we aren't that bad, though there are other lower bits of Machindia.
Yes.
And I must say they're really having a very tough time right now. I saw some repairs happening. There's a stretch called Uganda calendar, right from the traffic lights of Machindia, then you go straight down calendar. They are doing some work there, but still when you go to the famous road of Chirudu, Salama Road up to Chirudu, it is still more yet a death trap, and if you can avoid it, because I know even some of the patients, the reason why they say yafuda natero tukamudwali
is the road.
Because of that road. Because
My
if you're a
goodness.
patient and the ambulance decides to take that route, or the vehicle, you can hardly make it to Chirudu Hospital. You definitely arrive when they will pronounce you dead upon arrival, yet actually you die because of that territory.
Now that is sad. But of course, we are not just me and Robert. We have Chantal, though I believe where she stays, they fairly have good roads. Good morning, Chantal.
Good morning, Olive. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Well, speaking of roads, my side, like you said, we have fairly good roads, depending on the road that you decide to take. It only gets to be ghetto when we get to the outskirts of the area where I stay. Yeah, doesn't it get a little bit when you're getting closer to town, but the stretch to home, for example, everything seems to be okay. The place that used to have problems was along Mawanda Road. Every now and then they'll fix and stuff like that, but it is actually fairly okay, I can say, really fairly okay.
But how about when you go to other areas within the city?
Now that's my problem.
Is it the same story?
No, that's my problem. That's why I said when I get out of my home area, that's when it gets ghetto in terms of how the roads are. For example, just down here, when you talk about 7th Street, for those that have offices along 7th Street, you know what I'm talking about. Just even that roundabout alone is enough to show you that, we really need to do something about our roads. When it rains in industrial area, have your boat ready, because you're likely to want to swim. You're likely to sail, literally.
Among the roads that were listed to be worked upon, yes, 7th Street, 6th Street were listed, and we had the spokesperson of Kampala Capital Authority, Simon Kasiati, come and confirm we've received this amount of money. Was it from Africa Development Bank or something like that? And we are going to work on these roads and these roads. And if those roads are not yet worked on, well, it's very hurting, because people were told that within, I think, 36 months or something like that, these roads work will be commencing and they will be worked upon. But apart from the Bugorobi, I think they have begun something on Bugorobi.
They have, yes.
Yeah, but the rest we leave
Well,
to tell.
Kampala Capital City Authority says that they are blaming this on contractors whom they say signed on for more roads than they could, afford to work on in a given period of time. But then it begs for the question, who is issuing out these contracts to these contractors? Because if they are overwhelmed, you would have known right at the point where you were giving them these contracts. But good morning, Jerome Paulson. Did you get a boat this morning?
Good morning. You've been mentioning about roads, and my mind took me back to the Chinawataka lane. That is for people who pass via Boyogerere, Nambole, Chirinya, Bukasa, for all those who are trying to beat jam. That is along the way from Chireka Band and all those areas. Most people prefer the other side of the road, which is where most of the boda users also go for. People who use taxis, people who use coasters, buses, and others with personalized vehicles. But I think every other week I've only noticed that every other day, the deeper it gets, or I should say the potholes look like someone comes up in the night and digs. You know, because they're expanding each other day. Yeah, now when
and
it
rains heavily every night lately.
It does. So today it was all flooded, and these potholes were they're actually filled up with water this morning if you happen to pass there. So if you're a new passerby, you will actually face some issues, especially if you're a new driver. You'll be hitting them. Unless otherwise, if you're moving during daytime, you'll be able to see them. But if it's nighttime, it will be quite unfortunate. So I think it is high time as a country we start looking at the priorities we have, especially around these kind of roads, because it does seem like even the maintenance does not work for us, and it does feel like we really need to go back.
But you've seen the maintenance. In most cases, if there are potholes, especially those small potholes are within the road, you're going to see that they're going to fill up with soil first, and then they'll put gravel on top. So when it rains, obviously that is going to wash away, and then we have the same story recurring over and over again. But now the leaders are starting to feel the pressure. Ronald Balimwezi of Nakawa says that he's getting pressure from the electorate because now people feel like the leaders are doing nothing. And even Kampala Central Division Mayor Salim Uhuru is also saying he's starting to feel the pressure from his people. So this is not good. And of course, I think these roads are going to be part of the conversation in the upcoming elections, especially for the leaders that are aspiring to lead us within the Central Business District.
And you know the biggest challenge is some of these, and I want to be very categorically clear, is that some of these leaders promise what is not in their mandate. That is where the problem comes from. You're standing as a member of parliament, you're standing as a division mayor, and you're telling them, I'm going to work on roads. All knowing that
it's out of your mandate.
It's out of your mandate. You're not going to use your salary, you're not going to use your allowances, but these are the things. One person said the politician promised people to construct a bridge, and they told him, but you're talking about bridge, there is no river there. And he said, I'll put the river, then I'll construct the bridge. So,
but you see, as a leader, you're also supposed, because what is the role of a leader? You're supposed to be the voice for the people. You may not have the mandate to work on the roads, but you could, your voice could be added to push for some of these things to be done.
You can lobby your friends, you can do what?
Exactly.
But if you're looking for your votes and you tell them as
if it is you who is going to do it,
and then you even criticize some of the roads. Now look at this road, how can we have a mayor and we have such roads in the city? Then it is your turn, and now here you are.
Maybe sometimes it's ignorance. They don't know how hard it is to lobby for some of these things. But anyway, as part of Uganda, as a Ugandan myself, this is my city, and I add my voice to those of others. We need better roads. It's actually embarrassing sometimes driving around Kampala and you ask yourself, are these really the roads we have in the capital city of a whole republic? We need to do better. But speaking of doing better, right now we give you the local news stories.
And we'll begin with a pledge by President Yoweri Museveni of 20 million on the construction of the Right Reverend retired Mika. Now, President Museveni has pledged a cash contribution towards the construction of the Right Reverend Charles Martin Wamika's house. Reverend Wamika is a Roman Catholic bishop who has been the bishop of Jinja Diocese since March 2nd, 2010. The president made the pledge during his stopover towards Maganga after commissioning a marine ferry at the base in Tokoro, Mayuge district. President Museveni also thanked the audience for supporting the national resistance movement and urged them to maintain the overwhelming love for the party. The residents thanked President Museveni for his contribution towards the good cause. On the other stopover in Wantoni, Mukono, the president told the residents that he will get time and come back to educate them about wealth creation and household income.
And moving on, the Mountain Division Commander, Major General Dick Olum, has called upon local defense personnel to be prepared to serve diligently in the different areas of operations under the Mountain Division. Major General Olum made the comments at the pass out of over 461 local defense personnel who are undergoing refresher training at Hima Training School, Kasese District. He challenged them to be disciplined in order to progress in their careers in the Uganda People's Defense Forces and warned them against desertion. He cautioned the local defense personnel against reckless lifestyles and urged them to guard themselves against HIV/AIDS. He equally advised the ladies against early pregnancies. The 222 Brigade Commander, Colonel Saul Nabimanya, said the newly passed out trainees received proper training, are ready to be launched in the theatre of operations under the 222 Mountain Brigade area of operation. Present at the function were Brigadier General Stephen Mugera, senior and junior officers under the Mountain Division.
And moving on, Uganda and Kenya have exchanged confiscated fishing gears at Lake Victoria. The handover ceremony took place at Majinja landing site, where security representatives from both bordering countries came together to resolve disputes regarding confiscated equipment. 10 boats and 20 fishing nets were handed over to the Deputy Resident District Commissioner of Busia, Kanuna Grace, during the meeting, which was presided over at Majanji landing site. The exchange demonstrated the commitment of both nations towards working together and addressing issues that affect their representative fishing communities.
And finally, Mbara Diocese Archbishop Lambert Bainomugisha has appealed to believers to profitably use their God-given talents to serve humanity. This was at St. Kagwa Bushenyi High School, where he confirmed 147 students into the Catholic faith and also blessed senior 6 candidates ahead of the Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education examinations. The Archbishop also officially opened the magnificent Baptist Kakubi administration block that houses all school administration offices. And that does it for the local news stories. Right about now, we cross into the international news.
Internationally, fears of a possible strike on Gaza's Al-Quds hospital grow after Israel ordered its immediate evacuation and bombardment continues. The World Health Organization says it is deeply concerned. More children have been killed in Gaza in the last 3 weeks than the total killed in conflicts around the world in every year since 2019, the non-governmental organization Save the Children said. Impeding relief supplies to Gaza's population may constitute a crime under the International Criminal Court jurisdiction, the court's top prosecutor said during a visit to Rafah border crossing. At least 8,005 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza in Israel attacks since October 7th. 1,400 people were killed in Hamas's attack in Israel. And away from that, hundreds of people stormed the main airport in Russia's Dagestan region yesterday evening to protest the arrival of a flight from Israel. Authorities on Sunday closed the airport at Makhachkala, the capital of the predominantly Muslim region, and police converged on the facility. There were no immediate reports of arrests, but there were severe injuries. As of the incident at the airport, there are injured people who are receiving medical help, the ministry said on Telegram without elaborating. Local news reports said the airliner belonged to Russian carrier Red Wings. Social media footage showed some of the crowd in the landing field waving Palestinian flags and others checking the passports of passengers who had arrived in Makhachkala. And in South Africa produced a magnificent defensive display to edge 14-man New Zealand 12-11 in a compelling arm wrestle of a Rugby World Cup final and win at the Webb Ellis Cup for a record fourth time. Only a single yellow card had been shown in the 9 previous World Cup finals, but the crackdown on foul play in the game led to 4 being handed out over 80 minutes of intense rugby played out in front of a crowd of 80,065 at the Stade de France on Saturday. All Blacks skipper Sam Kerr suffered the ignominy of being the first player to be sent off in a title decider when his card for a high tackle was upgraded to a red card after a bunker review just before halftime. Despite playing for 3 quarters of a match a man short, however, All Blacks stuck to their ball-running game plan and scored the match's only try through Budenbarrett to get within a point of the lead just before the hour. And speaking matters climate, global health bodies are demanding international governments urgently phase out fossil fuels and fast-track renewable energy as health professionals increasingly see patients suffering from harm caused by climate change. The world's leading GP and health bodies, representing more than 3 million health professionals worldwide, will deliver an open letter on Saturday calling for urgent action against climate change to protect the health of communities. With the family doctors and health professionals of the world call on world leaders to take urgent action to safeguard the health of global populations from the climate crisis, the open letter reads. Signatories from 39 leading health bodies, including Australia's peak body for GPs and rural medicine, already seeing widespread impacts on human health caused by climate change in their patients. That is it for climate news and also what is happening on the international scene.
Thank you so much for keeping it Good Morning Uganda. Right about now, Joram Paul Sonko takes us through this morning's press review. And with the press review, the New Vision highlights new government policy to stabilize fuel and oil prices. UNOC to be sole supply of oil in Uganda. This is according to new minister's guidelines. So you can actually read more about the same in the New Vision today. There's a pictorial of thousands thronging the Mbutu music fete. You can read more about the same. Then the New Vision is front page also highlights President Museveni commissioning marine pier in Mayuge district as Joshua Cheptegei excites UNDP Elgon Marathon. Read about tourism, the unique bird species in Karamoja, which continues to excite tourists as government introduces packages for vulnerable at Mulago Women's Hospital. Now also read about the Mbarara University of Science and Technology eliminating money in university quiz competitions. Then elsewhere, the Daily Monitor with the headline, Government 6 billion for district offices. You can read about the Archdiocese Day. Think about others. Semogere tells the faithfuls. Besides that, the Seeds of Gold Clinic inspires thousands of farmers. And in the health living, what arsenic contamination means to your health. Read more about the same with the Daily Monitor. The Daily Monitor further highlights government is to meet fuel dealers today over importation of fuel. Now in the regional news, PLE candidates in Namutumba school to use desks for first time. Read about that one as the PLE exams are coming closer. Now NFA orders on forest reserve. Read more with the Daily Monitor. Now later on, as we move on with the show, we shall as well be looking at the top headlines making way across the East African region, that is in Kenya and Tanzania. For now, that is it for the local dailies. If you are joining us for the very first time, we do this every morning from 6:30 to 9 a.m. So welcome to Good Morning Uganda, and keep here until 9 in the morning. We have so much coming your way. In next hour of our news bill, we will be talking matters Parliament. So you need to stay tuned and know, should we get a new deputy speaker? Should there be a deputy speaker to the deputy speaker or a deputy to the Speaker of Parliament? That conversation is what we will be tackling when we get back. But for now, we are going to leave you with a song by Esther Oji. The song is Jesus.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
It is a beautiful new week. Welcome back from the weekend. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Uganda. My name is Olive Monica Najuma and it is raining yet again. And of course, as usual, then our roads are in some kind of jeopardy, especially in Kampala Metropolitan. But where is Kampala Capital City Authority standing on the promise to work on about 69 kilometers in Kampala? We will find out if they are actually doing what they say they would do or if they have failed us when it comes to that, because I believe where you pass to come to the city, you must be finding some kind of difficulty. Now, I understand we have a few nice roads. Maybe if you speak about roads like Kulambiro, if you speak about Stretcher Road, if you speak about the stretch around the Chura Road Police Station, those are beautiful roads, and of course the stretch around Kololo, around the golf course. Yes, but how about the other roads? How about in the industrial area? How about in the business district itself? Are the roads okay?
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
It is a beautiful new week. Welcome back from the weekend. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Uganda. My name is Olive Monica Najuma and it is raining yet again. And of course, as usual, then our roads are in some kind of jeopardy, especially in Kampala Metropolitan. But where is Kampala Capital City Authority standing on the promise to work on about 69 kilometers in Kampala? We will find out if they are actually doing what they say they would do or if they have failed us when it comes to that, because I believe where you pass to come to the city, you must be finding some kind of difficulty. Now, I understand we have a few nice roads. Maybe if you speak about roads like Kulambiro, if you speak about Stretcher Road, if you speak about the stretch around the Chura Road Police Station. Those are beautiful roads, and of course the stretch around Kololo, around the golf course. Yes, but how about the other roads? How about in the industrial area? How about in the business district itself? Are the roads okay?
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
It is a beautiful new week. Welcome back from the weekend. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Uganda. My name is Olive Monica Najuma, and it is raining yet again. And of course, as usual, then our roads are in some kind of jeopardy, especially in Kampala Metropolitan. But where is Kampala Capital City Authority standing on the promise to work on about 69 kilometers in Kampala? We will find out if they are actually doing what they say they would do, or if they have failed us when it comes to that. Because I believe where you pass to come to the city, you must be finding some kind of difficulty. Now, I understand we have a few nice roads. Maybe if you speak about roads like Kulambiro, if you speak about Stretcher Road, if you speak about the stretch around the Chura Road Police Station. Those are beautiful roads, and of course the stretch around Kololo, around the golf course. Yes, but how about the other roads? How about in the industrial area? How about in the business district itself? Are the roads okay?
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
It is a beautiful new week. Welcome back from the weekend. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Uganda. My name is Olive Monica Najuma, and it is raining yet again. And of course, as usual, then our roads are in some kind of jeopardy, especially in Kampala Metropolitan. But where is Kampala Capital City Authority standing on the promise to work on about 69 kilometers in Kampala? We will find out if they are actually doing what they say they would do, or if they have failed us. Floated the idea of having an assistant to the Deputy Speaker in the event that the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Taiwa, cannot afford to be in the House, to be in charge of plenary, since the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, is currently on maternity leave after she received twins. Congratulations again. But now there has been an uproar regarding this, because people do not understand and are questioning why we should have an assistant to the Deputy Speaker, because the Deputy Speaker is already deputizing the Speaker of Parliament. So if you say that we need someone else to now deputize the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, it means another way of blotting public spending, and many members of Parliament were not up for this. But of course, it also started a conversation on social media among Ugandans and even in the local dailies, where everyone is questioning this move. Now, according to Article 82, subsection 1 of Uganda's Constitution, it empowers only the Speaker and Deputy Speaker to preside over plenary sittings and a critical tenet in the legislation processes of the country. So the proposal to fill a lacuna, experts say, with the creation of offices for assistant deputy speakers will further increase the public sector wage. What do you think about this? This is why we are here this morning. My name is Olive Monica Najuma, and I am joined by Jerome Paul Sonko and Chantal Olive Kandinda. Good morning, lady and gentleman.
Yes, good morning again.
Good morning, Olive.
Now, Sonko, since you're dressed like an aspiring member of parliament, I'll start with you. First of all, where are we standing as far as parliament is concerned? How many members of parliament do we have?
Looking at a total of around 520 20 members of parliament, but also looking at it from an angle of having someone stepping in for, let's say, for one who is away is something that we look at. And I'm actually someone who is seconding this.
You're seconding it?
I'm going to give you a reason as to why.
Okay.
For example, now, when you look at the situation that we're actually having, like you've actually put it out there, that it's well stipulated that it is only the speaker and the deputy who are supposed to preside over plenary sessions in parliament, or to preside over different debates that occur in parliament, or even the house. So in a situation like this one, where we have the speaker who is currently on a 60-day maternity leave, those are 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. 2 months? Yes. Yeah, those are 2 months.
Around,
2 months, if I'm not mistaken. So 2 months of
no, it's supposed
of
to
leave.
be 90 days.
No, actually, senior saying 60 days. 60 days, yeah.
Okay.
Uganda's public
Service standing orders.
Okay.
So 60 days. So when you're away for 60 days, and we have only the deputy speaker presiding over everything that is happening in parliament. Now, God forbid, a situation arises where the deputy speaker is also, sick or attending to a family issue. Then who is supposed to be presiding over? I think this is where I'm actually standing with, Mr. Norbert Mao in, in this particular situation, whereby in case now the Right Honorable Thomas Tayebwa is not in place, then we will have to look out for his deputy who is not available at the moment. So it is more like preparing for crisis. It's more like a situation where we are being less reactionary and trying to put up situations that will prepare us for anything that comes in the near future. Because as any other person, everybody will have issues at workspaces and workplaces. If you do not have someone who's coming in for you, and it being parliament, it has to come through the law. So that means if it is through the law, you always have to have someone who is your deputy. Though, in my mind, I actually thought they had deputies, not by law, but maybe deputies on their own side. But I think,
look at it this way, Sonko. We already have a speaker.
Yes.
And according to the constitution, a deputy.
True.
Now, if we say that, the sky is not falling.
True.
And the speaker, I'm not trying to be anything. The speaker is not the first lady to have a child and go away on maternity leave.
Very true.
We have members of parliament that are of childbearing age, and I believe some of them have already had children. So, did they have assistants to be there for them during plenary?
No, you see, hers is a different one.
Oh,
because remember, even the speaker is also a member of parliament.
I hear you.
So that means she's still in position to
and
address
her
issues in her
constituency is currently not being represented.
So, no, it is currently having a member of parliament. So that means the officers are being active. The difference is in parliament it's different because by the law, by law, like you've mentioned it's only the two people who are supposed to be leading proceedings. Now, unlike in different constituencies or districts where a member of parliament may be sick, but simply because he has a personal assistant or he has
personal assistants don't run the constituency.
No, I'm saying they are not running the constituency, but the personal assistant reports to the to the member of parliament about issues that are happening. So in such issues, in such scenarios where let's say that the speaker, who is also a member of parliament, is on maternity leave, she will still have time to actually follow up in one way or the other because there is someone who is telling her about what is happening in a constituency, and maybe she can make some changes, not directly getting involved, but she has an ear on the ground. But now what is actually happening here is the same way we have, let's say, a deputy prime minister. I think we have like 3 of them. We have the first,
we have the first deputy, the second deputy, third deputy.
But when you
now,
look
all of
at
them
their
are
mandates,
aligned.
you're going to
Yes.
find that,
They're
for
different.
instance, Rebecca Kadaga, Deputy Prime Minister in charge of East African Affairs. So you're going to find that, yes, they have that title that almost looks similar, but their mandate
No, but you see, the
is
East
different.
African Affairs part is more about her representing the country as the minister. in
That's
charge
the
of-
position
so-
she has as Deputy
and
Prime Minister.
if
That's
you go
what she
to-
does.
True, but if you go to certain occasions whereby the Prime Minister is not around, just like we see the President not available in some instances.
And he has a deputy who
has
is
a
the
deputy,
Vice President.
Exactly. So that is what the Right Honourable Rebecca Kadaga also does. In case the Right Honourable Robin Anabanja is not available, then we're running to the first
So,
immediate
if the president
deputy.
is indisposed and the vice president is indisposed, should the vice president have an assistant vice? Because
No, the
if we
president
do this
takes
for
over according
parliament,
to the law. You know, the law is something that we as well have to look at
okay.
here.
Think about it like this. Have we even thought about what it takes to have another office created, labeled deputy,
Assistant.
assistant
First
deputy,
deputy.
assistant deputy speaker of parliament? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. My other question would be, let's go a little bit into private sector. So when the CEO is not around,
There is the ED.
there is the ED. But then does this person operates in the capacity according to the, say, according to the regulations put in place. However, what if the ED is not available?
There is someone below the
There is
ED.
someone below the ED. So my question is, why don't we instead put a regulation? Let's lessen how tight the regulation of the speaker and deputy speaker is, because they're the only ones that are allowed to chair plenary. Now, how about we put an allowance for the speaker or the deputy speaker to choose someone, or to actually to delegate someone, let me say, to fill in for that part. Because if you create another office, that means it's going to come with all these benefits that usually come with these offices, and that is going to incur on our expenditure as a country. So I don't think we should be looking at creating another office. We should be looking at creating means of making it possible for plenary to sit even when the two are not available, and those shouldn't be permanent. You're just a feeler. But just
you
like
see,
in private sector.
the problem here is you can't just be a filler, because parliament is where laws are enacted. Parliament is where bills are passed, okay? So if you are a filler on a day when, let's say, the anti-homosexuality bill is being passed, and probably you do not, your views are not representing what the speaker would have, or you probably a bill is passed and during your presence, but maybe it's wrong or something like that. Because this goes beyond individuals.
Unless
this is
someone is
matters.
sick.
This is a matter of country. But the biggest question
Unless
here
someone is
is:
sick that they can't speak.
Yes.
Can't you consult the speaker
But
and say, listen, this is what is happening?
there even need for delegation? How, look at
we are preparing for the
parliament
worst
since-
case scenario.
The worst case scenario for me feels like, what would you say to someone who says the worst case scenario that is being created right now is an excuse to bloat public spending even more? Because since Parliament was created, right when it was still called the Legislative Council, to this day when it's called Parliament, have we had a moment where both the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker were not in position to chair plenary?
I think we've not had that as much.
Yes, we haven't.
But when you
So
look
now
at
we are
this,
trying to find
you know, when
problems.
we look at this situation, like I did mention that if the speaker is not going to be available for 2 months, those are 60 days, but there is also an element that they exclude the weekends. So that means she's likely to be away for more than
That's true.
2 months, which is close to 90 days now, like you mentioned. So she's away for 90 days. And I've actually also said that, like Chantal has mentioned, it is actually going to stretch our expenditure in this public space or in the public service, which is right, and we wouldn't want us to be heading into that direction. But you see, in the same direction that we saw, parliamentary posts, start increasing from let's say we once had 200, we once had below 100. Now we've seen them increasing. Sadly, we are hitting 500 and name the number there. So when you look at the situation that we are in today, is we are trying to, when you look at the fact that the speaker is not here, the deputy speaker, like I did mention, God forbid, things do happen. Like you've mentioned that we've never been in a situation whereby both of them are not in position.
Actually,
or where
since
one
independence,
is not in position. Yes.
we've never had a situation where the specific independence, this is 61 years ago, we've never had an incident where both the speaker and the deputy were not in position to chair plenary. And if there had been an incident of this sort, probably it would justify this move. Look at the deputy speaker right now. He's of course anything can happen to anyone of any age, but he looks like an able bodied man, and I believe there is a reason why he's in that position, because he can. Okay, is he gonna get malaria in the next 2 months? Maybe.
No,
and there have been cases when plenary has not taken place because of one reason or another.
True.
If he's not away for a full month, that position,
it may not actually relate to only him being sick or anything, Monica. It can as well relate to family issues. You know, at times people may, you know, losing a loved one in certain situations. There's, you know, there are unfortunate events that occur in places of work whereby it wouldn't need someone to be available to work. And these are situations that they're actually trying to cap. I think the reason as why they came up with this is it has actually come into a time where we do not have a speaker today, where we do not have the speaker available due to the maternity leave. And we are now only left with the deputy. So it's like we are left with one bullet. And we are in a war whereby if this one bullet also gets faulty, or we overuse it, then we are likely not to have any other backup plan. So though Chantal has mentioned a very serious issue that it is going to overstretch our expenditure, whereby if you put in more spaces or you put in more offices, then that means these deputy speakers are supposed to also enjoy the same privileges, which means more expenses, more drivers coming up, more vehicles which are actually supposed to be
also we need to keep in mind that we need to keep in mind that this will not be a one-off. So now you've created a post because you are thinking probably of what could happen, but nothing has happened. So in the time when this assistant deputy speaker is there, it's even so a mouthful to say it. So in the time when we have this person, what is going to be their mandate? What are they going to be doing in the at the time when the speaker is available, the deputy speaker is available, and there are two available? Remember, we are paying them taxpayers' money. You're going to give them cars. You're going to give them all the benefits maybe the deputy speaker has. Okay.
Yes.
We need more resources for something like that to happen. So the big question here is, what is going to be their mandate, especially during times when both the speaker and deputy are present?
So now you see what I'm telling you, that we shouldn't even put our focus on creating a new office.
Yes.
We should put our focus on creating a possibility for someone to sit in at the moment when it's deemed necessary for them to sit in. I'll give you an example. I mean, we're talking about the unprecedented happening. Imagine the speaker is not available, the deputy speaker is not available, and then this person who was put in office also gets an accident, God forbid, or gets an emergency at home, so we have to look for another person and create another office for them. It doesn't make sense.
But why wouldn't they even be available? As in,
we don't have
under what
control.
circumstances would we have both, for instance, the managing director, the executive director, and maybe someone below, all of them? Because this is a job. All of you cannot be not available, except if you were traveling in the same kind of catastrophe struck.
The availability of someone at work is not something I want us to debate about.
No, because we are creating a new office, because we are planning
circumstances.
for someone not to be available to do their job.
No, very true. Very true when you put it in that way. That it may actually bring about, you know, situations of someone feeling like
complacence.
Okay, complacence, and I'm like, anyways, someone is available or someone will be there. But you see, in the political space, it's quite fortunate that the politicians are always very, I don't know how I can put it, but it's very rare to find a politician absenting themselves.
Rare?
It's very rare.
Rare?
You know why?
Please explain.
And in such spaces whereby you always have to have your political scoreboard rising any other day.
Sonko, are we speaking about the same parliament I know of, or another?
I'm speaking about the
because
position.
we've seen, maybe you're meaning the speakers themselves.
Yes, I'm speaking
because
about that
when you say
position,
politician, you've seen members of parliament missing plenary all the time.
Yes, we've seen them missing plenary, but then we do have those who never miss because they know the importance of not missing. Now, for the speaker's side, I do believe, I know, by the look of things, we've not even had cases where we've reported that a speaker is absent, even when the other is actually present. You know, so it is of this kind of situation whereby unless you hear the speaker has actually traveled out of the country, or the speaker is actually on leave, or scenarios whereby the late speaker who passed on when he was actually away for medical,
and the deputy speaker was filling in.
He was filling in.
Yeah.
So in such situations, all of that. Though, when you look at creating 2 deputy speaker slots, I would still say maybe it would be better if we created 1. Though, again, if you ask me what the other person will be doing in a situation whereby the other
everyone is around,
is available,
yeah.
Now that one is one that is very difficult for me to answer now, because I will also come to think of it in a way that it will actually create a situation of either one person is not going to be active in a way or the other, which I think brings us back to what Chantal was saying, that maybe if we are to make new regulations, or we are, trying to change, maybe we create
a seat filler,
a seat filler, or maybe a situation, or we put in, let's say, we try to create a space whereby in amongst the positions or amongst the people in plenary, maybe we create a position, or let's say there should be, how can I even put this, that there should actually be a provision in the law that in case the 2 speakers, that is the speaker and deputy, isn't available or present, we can have, let's say, the government chief whip standing in,
like someone that is already in parliament.
Yes, that is already in parliament, and then they just act as the acting.
That makes sense. But we would like to hear your opinion on this, and the question we are asking is your opinion on the proposal to establish the position of Assistant Deputy Speaker in Parliament. What is your take or opinion on the proposal to establish the position of Assistant Deputy Speaker in Parliament? You can send in your WhatsApp message on WhatsApp number 0709602592, and the hashtag on the X app is UBCGMU. Again, we are asking for your opinion on the proposal to establish the position of Assistant Deputy Speaker in Parliament. I have a few views coming through, and I would like to share those right now. Now, this one says Parliament needs Assistant Deputy Speaker to help Honorable Taewa, who is alone for the next 3 months. You didn't leave your name. Please leave your name when you write to us. It's important that we know who we are speaking to. And this one says, where is the Deputy Speaker planning to go? If he does, can't the House wait? After all, they have always gone to recess. And this is the question I was asking you earlier, Sonko. It won't be the first time Parliament goes to recess, because probably for one reason or another. So if, let's say, the Speaker right now is on maternity leave, and her deputy is not in position to chair Parliament, how long is he going to be away? How long is he indisposed? Can't it wait? Because we've had moments when we've gone for a long time without plenary.
I think,
and the sky did not fall.
True, again, but the more we have recess, the more you realize that discussions or debates that are going to be impactful to your communities where you are delaying.
Okay.
So if I told you have an issue to do with potholes that you need to be tabled and discussed, and Parliament goes in for recess.
Well, even when you discuss potholes in time, we still have potholes.
I know, but then also
later.
over delaying it, again, over delays the execution.
Anyway, I hear you. So, Ms. Chantal, when we speak about creating a position for Assistant Deputy to the Deputy Speaker, it is a mouthful. Have we considered the fact that it has to still be rooted through the Constitution?
Still.
And if we do decide to have this allowance, are we going to amend the Constitution for one matter, or we should have a collective of issues and then amend at once?
We shouldn't even be having such a consideration. I believe this is something trivial, and we shouldn't even be putting our focus on amending the Constitution.
But legally, it has to go through the Constitution.
Legally, it has to go through the Constitution. But I think now this is when we need to assess what matters actually should make us amend the Constitution. Is this heavy enough to make us amend the Constitution? I do not think so. We are wasting Ugandans' time, honestly. That is the truth. Aside from wanting to waste taxpayers' money through these payments that are going to be made to these offices, we are wasting time for the Ugandans. We should be seeing a provision put in place for someone who can sit in at the moment, and this person probably is regulated and assisted in terms of, okay, guided, let me say, by any other person who should be there. And the truth is, much as the Deputy Speaker and the Speaker, go to Parliament and chair these sessions, they don't make sole decisions. There is consultations made. That's why sometimes they say this house is on recess.
Yes.
Then they go back, do research, do all these things.
And we have all these committees.
Thank you.
That, do like, they look into different matters, weigh them, they're like audits.
So you cannot even say we are going to question this person who is going to be delegated to chair plenary at the moment, because this person is not going to be doing it on their own. They have committees, they have people that could guide them. So in my own opinion, we shouldn't be thinking about, let me put it like this, we shouldn't be thinking about creating another avenue to spend taxpayers' money, especially after being in the know that we're operating in a deficit budget as a country.
Exactly, because everyone is excited. Okay, the people that are excited about this, chances are that they have not put into consideration the expenditure this is going to create. We have a House of 557 members of Parliament, and onto this, you want to add more spending. But like you said, maybe regulation is the way to go. As in putting in place regulations where the Speaker can appoint someone.
Yes, a provision in the rules that enable the Speaker or Deputy Speaker to appoint someone that is going to, for the sake of closing that gap in that day, for like an emergency that has come up, that is something that has been unprecedented, and it is, how can I put, there is a word I want to use, usually when you're sending those emails of the reason was beyond, the reason was beyond your control. Beyond your control. And let's not put provisions for people to wake up in the morning, you're like, today I don't think I can show up, I think Chantal should sit in. No. Because you're serving Ugandans, you're serving a country. So by all means, try your level best to be there. So if we're putting provisions that should be assisting these people to be complacent, no, we shouldn't.
But you know, the issue of complacence is something, again, I'm going to stand against it. You know why? I've seen the Right Honorable Prime Minister. She has 3 deputies. But
what you're failing to understand is that those people are not necessarily deputizing her in every sense of the word.
It is true. It is true. Because as a deputy, you're not supposed to you actually don't make as much decisions rather as they say.
No, what I'm trying
because
to
we've
say,
seen even the president's situation.
No, what I'm trying to say is this. Yes, she's the Prime Minister in charge of government business.
Yes.
And then there is first deputy, second deputy.
And third.
Yes, but you will realize that they have their separate mandate. It's not like the Vice President whose job is basically to be a deputy to the President.
But you know when the Prime Minister is not around, it's going to be
there
the
are
first
those
deputy.
cases, yes, there are those cases, but you will find that being, let's say for instance, first Deputy Prime Minister in charge of East African affairs, you're going to find that her mandate is more is more about those affairs, that office, rather than just being a deputy to the, because when you say she has 3 deputies. This is what I hear, and I stand to be corrected. There is an event in Barra where the Prime Minister is supposed to be the chief celebrant. She can't make it, so this person goes, because that's it does happen. Yes. I understand, but is that what they are appointed for only, or they have other bigger issues they are handling?
They do have other bigger issues they're handling, again on behalf of the Prime Minister's office. You know why we don't want to rule out the idea
when
of
you say
the head
on behalf of the Prime Minister's
because
office,
the reason as to why on your tagline there is a deputy prime Prime Minister is because you're deputizing the main. So it is the same kind of situation here. And why I'm saying the issue of compliance goes back to an individual. And that is why I did also mention that this is a very sensitive sport whereby no politician in any capacity would wish to be put in the headlines for being absent in such situations.
No politician?
You know, if you're in that position.
Or you think they'll not have a reason for being, yes, no, they'll not have a reason for being absent.
They do have major reasons as to why they're absent, if you're to look at it in that way.
And sometimes the reasons, however genuine they seem, they may not be true.
But they are very true. The only reason now we do have here is someone is on maternity leave.
No, we're not centering on this. I'm saying sometimes I'm saying this. I could give you a very genuine reason, which is not true.
So let's look at how Parliament spends money. Currently, the 11th Parliament has 557 members of Parliament.
520.
You had even give them a discount. But and then they have 26 ex officio members. Each gets a monthly salary of 6.1 million shillings in addition to PACs. Besides the salary, yes, each lawmaker receives a housing allowance of 6.5 million shillings, a town running fee of 1.9 million shillings, and a constituency support fee of 17.3 million shillings. And it is important to note that ministers or ex officio members who are not representatives of any constituency don't receive the constituency fund. So that man I mentioned goes to members of Parliament.
Oh, we should choose from those ex to come in and...
So at the start of each Parliament, every lawmaker is entitled to a free iPad, funeral package, family health insurance cover, and allowance on travel abroad of $700, which is about 2.6 million, while inland travel is at 450,000 per DM. How often do they travel? You will find that some of them travel way more.
But I think their travel now was cut. Remember, with this new financial year budget, the Ministry of Finance actually decided to cut off the travels simply because they are trying to live within the means of our economy.
Okay.
So it is now limited to only a few cabinet members, the president,
and the government business.
And government business.
But still, monthly allowance is 60% of the salary sitting. Monthly allowance, 60% of salary sitting of the speaker, 4-wheel chauffeur-driven car, which is around 3,500 to 4,000 cc, 2 security guards, 2 domestic servants, free medical care for retired speaker and spouses, monthly allowances for utilities, which is about 33 current points, which is about 660,000 shillings, state funeral and a public holiday, spouses inherit benefits upon death of the speaker, and 313 million vehicle once after 5 years if re-elected. Additional 4 official government vehicles, which is Mercedes-Benz, limousine, pickup truck, and a Subaru lead car. Okay, this and more is what the speaker and deputy get. Now, you create another office, and this is another extra spend on the side of government, but this money is coming from your pocket and my pocket, taxpayer. Right?
That's why I tried to make it sound as terrible as I could, because at the end of the day, I mean, we are working with a deficit budget at the end of the day. So you cannot tell me that we are now going to add another office, of which this office has 1, no clear mandate, 2, has no daily duties that it's going to be focusing on, I would really think we should reconsider this thought and just go back to putting a provision that is going to enable business run as usual, but let's try and run this country as if we are running a private entity. You know, private entities will try as much as possible to reduce on the costs. They'll try as much as possible to provide good quality. They'll try as much as possible to put into consideration quality over quantity in most cases. It is more, they are more people-centered. Yes, there has to be returns that come in. So if we are really trying to make this country a better place, we need to make sure that we are running with some of these stringent rules to be able to pull through. Otherwise, we are going to keep in the whole, you know, creating offices all the time. I mean, we can't forget that there is other offices.
Being in a deficit.
Thank you. We can't forget that there is other offices and other districts and whatever that are created, and we still spend on them, yet they are maybe not necessarily needed at the moment when they are created. And quote me well, I see the need, though it's small, for us to have, you know, a provision for someone to sit in, just in case, for example, right now, something happens to the deputy speaker, God forbid, and is unable to come to office. But let's structure it in a way that is more favorable for the Ugandans and for whoever is in the planning seat.
We would like to hear your opinion on this. What is your opinion on the proposal to establish the position of Assistant Deputy Speaker in Parliament? What is your opinion on the proposal to establish the position of Assistant Deputy Speaker in Parliament? You can reach us through WhatsApp number 0709602592. It is right there on your screen. And if you are on the X app, the hashtag is UBCGMU. I have some more comments coming through and I would like to share those. My name is Samuel from Mbale. Why create another speaker's office, yet we have lots of things to do? Don't fool us to that extent. I think Chief Justice can chair the Parliament in the absence of a speaker. Please do not fool Ugandans. This is from Samuel in Mbale. And this one says, good morning, the Fantastic Threes. Thank you. The issue is not about having many deputy speakers, but service delivery. Before they think of getting as many assistants as possible, let them question themselves whether they have delivered to our expectations. What benefits us is not many numbers in the plenary, but services, no matter how little or big the numbers in Parliament. I even find it funny if the Speaker and her deputy are both absent in the plenary. Really? Once one is in for such big offices, they should bear it in their mind that it is a full-time job. Cricket Derek Gagamel from Makindi Luafu Sonko seems to be in disagreement, but we continue. Good morning, UBC. This is Stephen from Kampala. The issue of having an assistant deputy speaker should not be adopted. The speaker is not on sick leave. It is maternity leave. Well, it is heavier and she even has twins. That means that she is healthy. In this situation, the deputy speaker should alert the speaker to step in when for some reason he is not available. The speaker can then take off time and appear in Parliament. Stephen has a point here, by the way. If you've been in the corporate world, you're on leave, maternity leave. It has ever happened even to myself. There are times when you're called in office, they're like, you know what, Olive, we need you for a day. We will understand your leave. We will extend it further, but we need you for 2 days.
Yes, for today it's an emergency.
Exactly.
Yes.
So he says the speaker is not sick. She can come in when the deputy is unavailable, and then she will go back to her maternity leave. That also makes sense. Anyway, moving on, this one says, is this what they say, job creation? And he put it in quotes with capital letters. No, I don't think it is necessary. I'm Edward Ondoma from Kapchora. Thank you, Edward. And this one says, this is Emma. Please, we need the assistant deputy speaker to help Thomas Taewa. Thank you for your view. And Patrick from Gulu says, good morning, thanks for the show. This is my view on today's topic. It is like insurance. You have to be prepared for the uncertainty. Of course, if the head of the family dies, the first son will automatically take over. If he dies, the second son will take over. That will go on and on. On rare occasions, only when outsiders are brought in to occupy the position. All I'm saying is that with all the officers in Parliament, they should be in position to substitute or come in to run the House, not again creating an office of its own. So he's suggesting what Chantal mentioned earlier of let's have regulations where someone else can stand in for the Deputy Speaker when he's not available, rather than creating a whole new position. And this one is Higenye Nathan from Soroti, Arapai. He says, I oppose that because it is a wastage of money, and yet we all understand the situation in which we are currently. So let one parliament member act temporarily in case of anything. And this one is Jairus, Pastor Jairus, Engineer Koiwa. He's speaking to us from Kenya, and he says, nice discussion, watching you live from Kenya. Thank you so much. And this one is James Ekite from Serere. He says, that's wasting time and taxpayers' money. Let the person be delegated to do the deputy in absence, to do the deputy's work in his absence, other than appointing someone else. Uganda has so many things to do other than that. Thank you, James. And this one says, this is Kule. And this one say, Maurice from Ginger says, this government should start prioritizing quality than quantity to cut off wasting resources. Very many cabinets, but no services to the general public. Well, many views are coming through, but I may not be able to share all of them, but still thank you so much for your views. This one says, I think the parliament should look for acting deputy speaker, because remember, Tayewa may also have personal problems like any other person, which can lead to a disaster in parliament. Why can't the government reduce the allowances of among others to cater for the new position of assistant deputy? This is Gilbert from Rwanda. And I will end with Henry from Henry Sichomo. He says, I think this incident has come because the speaker has been in maternity leave for some time. She has just gone on maternity leave. And he says, according to me, I think there should be a restriction that if the speaker to be elected is a lady, she should consent not to get pregnant before the end of her term. What? And then he continues and says, I think pregnancy is not an emergency. It was planned in a wrong period. There should not be a wastage of government money. I support gender equality, but since ladies tend to be weak during pregnancy and delivery periods, then let Parliament instead put a condition on ladies qualifying for this position. Elect ladies who stopped producing, or those ladies to be...
Very misogynistic of an opinion.
This opinion,
you know, it is...
I would like to hear from Sonko.
You know why I said misogyny,
misogynistic.
written all over it is, you know, it's like you're hating, but you're not hating.
No, you're hating, but you're shrouding it.
You're attacking while defending. You know, in the football world.
That person is doing the same thing I told you.
You score and then you also, you know, come back and score an own goal the other side. Because there is no way you can put an end to nature.
Yes.
You understand? Unless, like he has said, it's planned, but everybody has got, can't we have life outside work? So it's like you're saying, the speaker should not get pregnant.
Until she's no longer speaker.
It's more like you're telling, how about the men? Should we say also the man shouldn't indulge themselves in, you know? Because actually,
okay, men do get leave, though, however small it is, but so should we say that...
I think he was just attacking while defending.
Chantal, your parting shots in a few seconds.
I'm still going to insist and say this. It doesn't make sense to create an office. Let's put a provision that will enable someone to be delegated to sit in every once in a while. I insist, once in a while. Creating an office is more expenditure that is not necessary for our country right now.
All right, and that does it for us this morning. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. And to the gentleman that said the speaker should put off giving birth, there is life outside work, and the speaker is a woman, and everyone has a right to do as they please, have babies at the right time when they see fit. So that position you took, no, we cannot advocate for that. Well, my name is Olive Monica Najima. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. Good Morning Uganda continues. Right up next is GMU Business and Traffic Updates. We'll be right back.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
In Bushenyi district, we run a number of programs ranging from service delivery to wealth creation. We have the presidential initiative on wealth creation, a MUGA program, where we have 34 circles that have been given funds for the last 2 years, of which each circle received 33 million and only 2 managed to receive 50 million each. These funds have enabled the different categories of our population to engage into business-related activities, and we can see their incomes getting better. Some of them are into tailoring, others into mechanics, into carpentry, hairdressing, or mention it. And so far, they are running their enterprises smoothly.
Oyagaliza famire yo obugagga n'obulamu obulungi, yiga bw'oyinza okubifuna ng'okozesa science ne tekinologiya ng'oyita mu butonde. Omukenkufu Nyanzi Julius ekyuma kiwagala kyuma akuwandiikidde ekitabo ky'otasaanye kusubwa kusoma. Ekitabo kino akituumye Money Grows on Trees, sente zimera ku miti. Weefunire kopi ku $2 gyokka ku kitebe kya Prof Bio Research ku Katorio Mall, ku matabi g'amatundiro g'ebitabo aga Aristoc Booklex, ku Acacia Mall, Garden City, Kampala Road ne ku mitimbagano ja Jumia Uganda, oba kuba 0703 M52 tukikutuuseeko wonna w'oli. Jukira nti Money Grows on Trees, sente zimera ku miti.
Juko.
Yo.
Wachiko. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, development, my life.
Here we are for GMU Business this morning. I'm Joram Paul Sonko. It is time for us to check out and see what is happening in the world of business. Well, the business world never rests or never sleeps. Even during the weekends, people are making money. The nightlife economy opens up as early as 8 o'clock, closes at 5 o'clock. But by the time it has actually closed, it has made a lot of money to open and usher a fresh new day for the daytime economy. And the daytime economy at times does open at 7 o'clock. That is where you see offices opening up and people with 8 to 5 jobs also rushing to work. So pretty much the obvious when it comes to how you get your money out there, this is the salary week for most of the people. And so there is a lot of excitement as well when you look at it from that angle. Bills have to be paid, rent has to be cleared, a lot more of the same. And for the students, the senior 6 students are also warming up for the UACE. The same applies to the primary leaving examinations, which are also underway. But now speaking of business, the Business Trendsetters Forum officially launched the nominations for the 2024 Business Trendsetters Awards with various categories of personalities leading in innovations and business solutions, as well as appreciating them for their efforts. So these are Trendsetters Awards that are actually put in place to look at which people or which business-minded brains are setting new trends in business. That is in innovations, setting the way, paving and showing us new direction of how things are supposed to be going and how to make new money. Now at the launch, Irene Mujisha, an author and business owner and public servant, along with Robert Kapchenga, who is a retired corporate executive and farmer, were awarded for being among the lead trendsetters of the year 2023. And when you look at these awards, they were established way back in 2021. The award ceremony seeks to bring together a multitude of both local and international corporate bodies while rewarding exceptional ideas and movements in the world of business. So it is looking at, putting up an idea or an element of pushing for new ideas, supporting the fresh ideas and trying to inspire others into getting into the business world, as well as coming up with various innovations to inspire the business community. Now, the trendsetters at the launch observed the growing need to reward innovation as a way of motivating investment in Uganda, because remember, the public at times rarely appreciates what is happening locally. We tend to appreciate more of goods that are actually coming out from our country or services that are being offered by international companies or bodies. So with such awards, in most cases and scenarios, you'll find out that we shall be appreciating the local entrepreneurs, the local innovators, and in the long run, supporting the entire element of Buy Uganda, Build Uganda as a policy that looks at upholding the rise of our exports rather than increasing the imports in the country. Now, besides that, let's now focus on the other issue, this time around rotating around cooperatives in the country. The chairperson of the Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union, Binti Jalia, reiterated the crucial role of education, advocacy and collaboration in strengthening cooperative societies, as well as safeguarding members' interests and contributing to Uganda's economic growth, as cooperatives are being looked at as the only way as well in which many of the Ugandans will get back into the money economy. The same reason as to why you're literally looking at the fact that through the Parish Development Model Program, the President was targeting money to pass through various circles. Why? Because the cooperatives do have that element of unity and also giving out room for high development situations for most of those that belong to various cooperatives. Now, the chairperson of the Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit did emphasize as well that collaboration in the is one of the pivotal factors of development, and also looking at a way of elevating everybody who is part of any cooperative to make sure that they actually showcase their capabilities. Now, one of the primary highlights of this particular annual general meeting was the focus on the UCSCU Academy, which is an institution that plays a crucial role in training and circle leadership, as well as training managers, new CEOs, board members, and also doing supervisory duties for board members. And also, so Binti Jalia did reveal that regional tours organized across the country provide a valuable opportunity to engage with members that have access to vital information, as well as various borrowers who need to have access to money. And, well, of course, upholding the fact that we need to strengthen the economy of the country. Well, our focus stands to the forex market. Market is reopening Monday morning. Now, this is how you may definitely find different currencies trading. The US dollar was, of course, by the look of things, close of business Friday, was selling at 3,777.50, while buying at 3,767.50. The euro was buying at 3,981.11 shillings, while selling at 3,991.68 shillings. The Great Britain pound was buying at 4,572. 4,572.23, while selling at 4,584.37. The Kenyan shilling was buying at 25.04 shillings, while selling at 25.11 shillings. The Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.50 shillings, while selling at 1.50 shillings as well. South African rand was buying at 199.25 shillings, while selling at 199.77 shillings. So you can definitely get yourself more of that as you're heading into the forex bureaus to change some currencies or to buy or sell different currencies. Now, our focus stands back to the press review, but first we start with the local dailies, of which the New Vision, new government policy to stabilize fuel and oil prices. The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is said to be sole supply of oil in Uganda, according to the minister. Then also read about government introducing packages for vulnerable at Mulago Women's Hospital. Now, tourism, unique bird species in Karamoja excites tourists as must eliminates money in university quiz competition. Also, President Museveni commissions marine pyre in Mayuge as Joshua Cheptegei excites UNDP Elgon Marathon. Now, the Daily Monitor with the headline, Government 6 billion for district offices. Read about the same with the Daily Monitor today. And then furthermore, the Archdiocese Day, think about others, Semogeri tells faithful. The government is set to meet fuel dealers today over importation. Regional PLE candidates in Namutumba School to use desks for first time as NFA orders on forest reserves. More of that in the Daily Monitor as the Healthy Living says what arsenic contamination means to your health. Crossing the borders to Kenya, the Daily Nation, end of an era. Change today marks a watershed moment in the history of education in Kenya as the 39th and last group of learners to spend 8 years in primary school is writing their KCPE exams, a key plank of the 844 system. Read about the same in the Daily Nation. Ruto says my trips are for your own good. President defends his many foreign travels since he came into power. Now City beat United in Manchester Derby. The Red Devils thrust 3-0 by the visitors. Strategic execution that claimed lives of 5 candidates. Read about that in the Daily Nation. Now lastly, the Citizen in Tanzania. The Citizen highlights hope for green projects as CRDB bond raises 172 billion shillings. Now NMB Bank eyes new record as quarterly profit soars to 569 billion Tanzanian shillings. Then in sport, triumph South Africa revel in Rugby World Cup glory. Read about the same as the Springboks defeated the All Blacks on Saturday. Now, East African community seeks to plug food security gaps as RSCs to highlight development projects in their areas. That and more is what we've had in the press review this morning. It's Monday, very cold, and the traffic jam is always up there. But now it is time for the traffic updates with Olive Monica Najuma.
Yeah, that's right. It is time for the traffic updates. Good morning. My name is Olive Monica Najuma. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you are coming from the areas of Makindye, areas of Entebbe Road, Masakar Road, and of course Katwe, you're coming to the business district and you're going through that roundabout at Chibuye. As you can see on your screen, that's where we are standing. Now, for those coming through from the areas of Makindye, I see traffic coming through, and there is a deep red zone right around the traffic, the roundabout at Clock Tower, and this means that we're going to spend some time there because everyone is trying to access the city through this roundabout. The roundabout is the one around Muganzi Raza, when you're going to Katwe. So if you're coming in from Entebbe Road, you can see there is a deep red zone coming through from Entebbe Road. Actually, it stretches all the way from the areas of Najanankumi coming through to this roundabout in Chibuye. And also, if you're coming from the areas of Masaka Road around Chibuye Market, you can still see this red zone coming through, indicating traffic that has built up from that side, the Masaka Road side, joining the Chibuye roundabout. And of course, if you are coming from the areas where there is Muganzi Raza building, there is traffic that is starting to build through and join the roundabout here, so it doesn't look good at all if you're coming to town. Now let's look at Queensway and how it joins the rest of town. After the roundabout, there is smooth flow of traffic through Katwe. As you continue ahead, you are going to find traffic here at this intersection that joins Katwe Road to this small intersection right here before you go to Nsambia Road. And of course, Entebbe Road still has traffic, as you can see. So if that's where you're coming from, Siki Road, where it joins Entebbe Road, there is a huge traffic coming through that side. But then Lachivubo channel looks pretty good, so if that's where you're proceeding to, you should be good to go. Now let's continue way ahead and look at areas of Mukwano Road and see how that is going. Now we see that before you join Mukwano Road, there is traffic jam that is coming through from the areas of Nsambia, and that wide junction doesn't look good at all this morning. It has traffic coming through, it has traffic going to the areas of Nsambia. So from around St. Peter's SS in Nsambia coming through to this wide junction, you're going to find a huge traffic over there. So if that's where you're coming from, please be advised. Now as we continue around Sharing Hall in Nsambia, still there is traffic coming through from that road to join the main Nsambia Road. Now around the corner that has Arena Mall, I understand there are roadworks still ongoing around that area, and still as usual there is traffic around that corner, but it is not as intense as the traffic that was coming through from Nsambia. Now as we continue with Mukwano Road, there is some sections that have smooth flow of traffic, as you can see over there. And as you approach the area that has Press House Road and still Mukwano Road, that's where you're going to encounter traffic jam. Now this traffic jam goes on until you join 8th Street. You can see over there that 8th Street looks red, and of course Mukwano Road itself, as it joins that small roundabout there that has Access Road and 6th Street, also looks intense this morning. So you may spend some good time over there because the traffic has built up. But the good news is that after the roundabout, if you're still continuing with 8th Street, you will find that there are a few sections that have traffic, but up ahead it looks good. Mbogo Road looks very good. There is a smooth flow of traffic there. And as you continue with Namwongo Road, you're going to find that this area actually has smooth flow of traffic. And now along 7th Street, you will find some bit of traffic, and other areas you're going to find orange zones which indicate that traffic is starting to build up. But up ahead, the road actually looks clean. There is smooth flow of traffic. Those green lines you see on your screen indicate smooth flow of traffic. So if you're headed to the sides of 7th Street, you are in luck, as today you're not going to be held up on the road. There is smooth flow of traffic. And looking again at 6th Street, right where it joins with 5th Street, there is a bit of a traffic build up over there. And of course, on 5th Street itself, there is a traffic jam on both ends of the road. So if that's the side you're using, yeah, please be advised that there is intense traffic over there, so it might delay you this morning. So as 5th Street joins Go Down Road, you can see that Go Down Road also has traffic that has built up this morning as it joins Namuwongo Road. So I don't know where you're heading this morning. I don't know how you're planning your routes, but if you're coming from these areas, please be advised that some sections have intense traffic, but others do not, depending on which route you're choosing to use. Well, that's it for traffic updates this morning. My name is Olive Monica Najama Dukipit. Good morning, Uganda. Up next is the agenda, and later on, traffic sports updates.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
My name is Atube Richard, a member of a group called Kanyope, located in Bungatira sub-county. This group started in 2008, but the Prelnol project started supporting us in 2009. The project has offered us training on farming, and the training we got has helped us immensely. We used to farm in a traditional way, planting a variety of crops. But when the team from Prelnor approached us, they asked us to choose particular seeds to grow which can yield very well in our area. We chose groundnuts and rice, which we are growing. With this kind of farming, the project also taught us how to sell as a group after finding a market. The support from the project has been so good to us.
This week on UBC.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala, we have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Juko. Yo. Wachiko. Check the shopping man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What what you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief, and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Amazina nabanyeta ndiyamuba Amon Sarongo kandi nanye nukundi kweyeta chairman w'abantu abino burema ahabwa Rushenyi PWD Emyoga Sako.
My name is Nyamuba Amon Salongo and I serve as the chairman of PWD Emyoga Sako in Rushenyi constituency. As individuals with disabilities, we have greatly benefited from the support we received in the form of 30 million Ugandan shillings seed capital. Despite facing challenges, the impact has been immense. Our SACCO consists of 211 members, and we have utilized the opportunity to engage in goat rearing. By taking advantage of the low interest rates provided, we have been able to purchase goats. While some members have faced difficulties, this initiative has proven beneficial overall. Additionally, we were later granted an additional 20 million Ugandan shillings, which we put to good use. This financial support has played a significant role in the progress of each and every SACCO member. Through these initiatives, we aim to ensure that everyone in our community benefits from our collective efforts.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Just 7 minutes past the top of the hour. A lovely morning to you. In case you have just joined, this is Good Morning Uganda, and we are always here from 6:30. Now, welcome to the agenda, where we usually have a guest or guests in studios, and we discuss issues of national concern. Now, I don't know, but some that are aware, come 2024, the National Identification Registration Authority, NIRA, will have to conduct a mass exercise. Now, this will involve registration, and also remember, we have people whose national identification cards will be expiring. Now, I don't want to use the word expiring because it brings a lot of questions to some people, and they wonder, how does my citizenship expire? But the good news is I have the executive director of NIRA, Rosemary Chisembo, who is with me in studios and will be able to address all this. Parliament, we saw her and officials from NIRA saying, but we need to do this exercise. But we still have challenges in funding. Well, this and more, and most exciting, is that in this particular segment, you can also be part of the topic of discussion by simply going to our various social media platforms. Now we have our WhatsApp number that will be popping up on the screen. We use that number to send a text message even if you don't have internet. But you have airtime, you can send a text message using that number. If you do have, you can send a WhatsApp message. And I can guarantee you my guest will be able to respond to all your concerns. Good morning, madam, and welcome to the studios.
Thank you.
Now, to begin with, for our viewer, many people hear of NIRA. All they know is, that is where you get your national ID. But briefly tell us, what does NIRA do? What is your mandate? How did you come into existence?
In 2015, the government of Uganda established the National Identification and Registration Authority. The act that established us is the Registration of Persons Act 2015. Section 5 of that act delineates or outlines or enlists our key roles. Section 5A says we are supposed to create, maintain, and manage the National Identification Register. Number 2, we are supposed to register citizens and all non-citizens legally living in this country. Number 3, we are supposed to allocate them a national identification number and an alien identification number upon registration. Number 4, we are supposed to issue national IDs. Number 5, we are supposed to register births and deaths that happen in this country. Number 6, we are supposed to verify and authenticate information, meaning that people whose information we have registered, with their consent, we are supposed to allow others to see that we have them in our register. Number 7, we are supposed to harmonize and collect information from other MDAs, meaning that if government has updated certain information, I'll give an example of UCC. If information of your number has been updated, we are supposed to get it with ease and update it on our side. Number 8, we are supposed to carry out research in identification. Number 9, we are supposed to secure and preserve the information on the register. And the last one is we are supposed to do any other thing that government asks us to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that was said, the functions, and I'm sure now my viewers know that it's not all about national IDs, even child registration. And that is something that Ugandans, we don't take so much as of importance. Many children are born and you don't care to register them. Even death, you have to register death with NERA. Now, for today's specific topic, we are looking at this massive registration that is going to happen, but also knowing that we have national IDs that are going to be expiring. Now, for clarity purposes, because I know this is a question that many have asked me, when you talk about a national ID expiring, does that mean my nationality, my right? Why would someone say a national ID has an expiry date? Let's begin with that.
It is commonplace to confuse the national ID with a driving permit. Because when your driving permit expires, you stop driving, otherwise the police will stop you. Okay? A national ID is not a driving permit. A national ID is a representation, and I want to use my words carefully, is a representation of the information that we have in the National Identification Register that is supposed to assist somebody who doesn't know you to identify you. 1. The information based on in the register is information that does not change, and I'll give you an example. Your mother does not change. So even when your national ID expires, your mother won't expire. That lady, what's your mother's name?
Margaret.
Margaret? What's the other one?
Nyonyi Ntono.
Mama Margaret Nyonyi Ntono. National ID when expiring, she will still be, your mother will still be Mama Margaret Nyonyi Ntono. So the information we collect on Form 3 is factual information. Your father, your place of origin, they do not change. Your date of birth does not change. Your right to citizenship, whichever it is, does not change. If, which tribe are you?
Muganda.
You're a Muganda. What's your clan?
Monkey clan.
Nchima. Very good. The Nchima clan was in Uganda. I mean the Baganda we are in Uganda, before February 3rd, 1926. That's how we identify citizens. Tribes that were in Uganda before February 3rd, 1926. So you would belong to that indigenous community that was in Uganda before 1926, 3rd February. That fact does not change. So even when your card expires, the reason we are expiring your card is there are two key reasons. If I showed you my card today, the picture, I was much smaller than I am now. I had longer hair. It might be difficult to identify me with that card. So we are just trying to keep your biometrics up to date. In that card, embedded in the barcode is your fingerprints. For some people, with use and time, their fingerprint fades, degenerates. So we are just saying that 10 years later, this is how Mr. Ruben looks like. This is how his fingerprint is still there, it's not faded. If the right hand thumb faded, but we still have a strong index finger, we say, okay, now, when you're identifying him, look at his face and verify, instead of his right hand thumb, verify his index finger. So those are the facts about this exercise. Yes, please.
Now, having said that, and I'm now sure Ugandans know that actually your national ID doesn't expire. But for the two main reasons, that is why we are going to be undergoing that exercise. Now, let's
maybe I will also add, identification of persons in Uganda is first recorded in 2013-2014. There were children. Our birth registration rate in other countries, as children are born, they are registered. The very year they are born, actually, our law says 30 days after the child is born, they should be registered. Now, because there are no children because we are not at 100% in children registration, there are many people who deserve IDs who don't have them now. Okay? Also, the exercise in 2013-2014 started at the age of 16. There were those from 0 to 16 who didn't get registered. But now they are of age. So in essence, a mass enrollment exercise is an intervention. It is an intervention because of birth registration rate not yet at 100%. There are people who died but still are on the register because Uganda's death registration rate is at 10%. Therefore, the estimated people who die each year is 300,000, give or take, according to the UBOS projections. So in essence, what we are supposed to do is to keep a secure, accurate, and credible register.
Now, Madam Idi, two things here of concern. We have the mass enrollment, but we also have those whose national IDs are going to be expiring.
Yes, please.
So how is NERA going to handle these two?
The equipment, the software, and the forms that handle mass enrollment or the capture information are the same. So at the same venue where people will be renewing, it is at that same venue that people will be enrolling for the first time. And that venue is at the parish. Down at the parish, Uganda has 10,717 parishes. In a manner that was used still in 2013-14, where we rotated from one parish to another, we shall rotate from one parish to another. There are 10,717 parishes. We shall spend 3 days at a parish and move to another. We envisage that in 2.5 months, we shall have finished a district 1 round. Moving around its what? Its parishes. God willing, we can do a second round. For those, for whatever reason, who didn't get that one, not captured in the first round, we shall come back a second round. At each parish, we shall set up 10 machines. And they will, a minimum of 10, there might be more, but there will be a minimum of 10. In that area, there will be 4 zones. The first zone, Zone A, is for persons living with disabilities, pregnant mothers, and children. Then they will get their services from Zone A. Zone B will be for persons who are enrolling.
First time
enrollment. Zone C, and still Zone B will be divided into B1 and B2. B1 will be for those who have not done any online service. Who maybe they don't have internet, maybe they are not very literate, maybe they are not, they can't afford to go online. B2 will be for those who have done pre-registration online and have just come for fingerprint capture. Zone C will be for those who are renewing. Still it will be C1 and C2. C1 and C2. C1 will be for those who have not gone online. They have their ID. They've not gone online. Nothing. They've just come to renew their card. C2 will be for those who have gone online and have just come for fingerprint capture on renewal. In all cases, we are adding the iris. That is why people have to come back. Okay? Then, Zone D will be for issuance. When national IDs start coming, those ones are for any of that category. Instead of moving to BA, whatever, you go straight for, if you've come to pick your ID, you go to Zone D. Then, there will be an information desk. At the information desk will be seated a PISO, a GISO, or a DISO, or all three, depending on the arrangement of the district. In addition, there will be seated the LC1s of that parish. And then there will be seated any other information, maybe the sub-county supervisor, who is helping this exercise move on. Then there will be a sitting area where you go and sit on arrival. If you have any question, you move to the information desk. If someone at the zones who is enrolling doesn't says, this person is not from our region, we don't know them, they will send you to the information desk. Or we doubt their citizenship, they'll send you to the information desk.
Now, that said, Madam ED, it takes out of preparation.
Yes, please.
And more so, we know 2026 is a year of elections.
That's true.
Now, how far are the preparations in terms of human resource, in terms of finances, in terms of gadgets to be used?
Okay. The preparations, the fact that I'm talking about Zone A, Zone B, Zone C, Zone D, is an indication that there is some preparation that has started. There is some planning activity that has gone into this exercise. The budgets are ready, the implementation strategy is ready, the approach that we'll use is ready. So there are a couple of things that are ready. The governance team that will oversee the operation, which is called the Multi-Sectoral Advisory Task Force, is in place. They've met severally. The software that we are going to use is called the Modular Open Source Identification Platform. It's available online. It's an open source platform. Customization has started to some extent. Not major, but has started to some extent. Data migration from the old system, the preparatory work for it has started. But there are certain fundamentals that have not yet started that need an injection of funds. And when Parliament read our budget, I know that people went up in arms. And understandably, we ought to be accountable to the public. And someone highlighted that for me, I go to Nassau Road and I buy an ID at 10,000 shillings. Okay? For us, we are buying 24 million. So if I'm to use their rate of 10,000, although ours is a bit cheaper, let me use their rate of 10,000. That is 240 billion. Because we are replacing 15.8 which are need renewal, but there are about 8 or 9 million people who don't have cards yet, who are entitled to the cards.
So that's 600 billion.
I'm not going to give you a breakdown.
Okay, of that amount.
I'm going to give you at least I'm going to pick the 4 major items, which come to about 460 to 500 billion.
Because indeed, when people had that budget, like 600 billion, what on earth is that going to do?
So I want to use that Nassau Road price of 10,000 shillings, which that person gave. Ours is cheaper, but I'll use his. It is 240 billion for 24 million cards. Okay. Then there are the kits. What is in a kit? Because someone may think it's like my handbag. There's my makeup, you know, my a few things. Okay? What is in a kit? In a kit is a laptop, 16 GB RAM, 1 TB storage, about 2.9 to 3.2 gigahertz processor speed, and with certain cards. That one is estimated between 7 and 10 million. Then there is an iris scanner. Then there's a fingerprint reader. You know, whenever you come, we scan the documents you've brought. There's what we call a document scanner. Then there is a signature pad where you sign when you are what? Finished. Then there is the box. Then there is an additional battery. And for some of them, we are going to put solar panels for areas that don't have electricity or some additional power back method. So those are estimated to cost about 20 million a kit. The breakdown is clear. If anyone wants it, it's available. There's no secret in it. So 20 million times 5,500, which we are acquiring. I don't know. I think it's between 20 and 24 million. I've got but let me use the lower figure of 20 million. 20 million times 5,500 is 110 billion. Those are two items. The other one was 240 billion. Now. This is 110. Tuliku 350 what? Billion. Okay. Now, people are going to be doing this work. It is not robots. And we are going to hire about 12,000 people. So, njagala babala bafune kalamu. 12,000 times. Okay, let's give them a salary of 500,000 a month. times 12 months.
Because they have to be there all day for this particular
for
period.
6 days.
For 6 days.
For 6 days. On 6th they enroll, on 7th day, the 7th they don't. It's the only day they rest. Okay. Those ones.
And with Ugandans, we want them there as early as 8,
exactly,
and at least leave at 5.
The day we have put is 8 to 6 p.m. Or in areas where the sun takes longer to go down, they will work until daylight is out. Their salaries also come to about 110 or 120 billion. Those are 3 items. I'm at 400, about 70 billion. That budget has about 230 items. There will be fuel that takes these things from Kampala, the kits, and moves them around in the district. But anybody who is interested in dissecting the budget is not a secret. It is a document as the public you are entitled to.
Now here comes the big question. Government is willing to have this exercise, fine. The finances, when you were in before Parliament, I saw the squeezing here, there, everyone being an expert. And the good thing is we have a Parliament where everyone is given to a piece to have their opinion regardless of how informed they are. But these are representatives. So I saw the bashing, then I was like, no, Madam Chisembo, come and defend this on TV, let people understand. But 600 billion seems something that maybe government may not be having as of the time you need it. So what is the way forward for this exercise?
And I'm glad we went to Parliament. On September 30th, 2024, we are supposed to hand over a register to the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission is not entitled to use our register, but it is the register that has citizens. So it's an input in their register. For us, we have a national identification register of citizens. It includes the babies. Babies don't vote. But they have a right to look at our register. In our register, we also have aliens. Aliens don't vote. But our register is an input into...
Maybe a quick one. We talk about aliens. Who are we referring to?
Oh, aliens are non-citizens legally living in the country.
Good. We can continue. Proceed.
So in essence, we are supposed to hand over that input. The Ganjula it and pick or derive or estimate what later on becomes their voters register. So in essence, I think the alarm has been caused by the fact that we are 12 months, no, less than, we're 10 months to that exercise, and there's no external movement. In our own roadmap, we had envisaged that by August 2023, we would have been already in the field. So, Mr. Mpima, I return this question to you.
Robert Chirabo.
Sorry, Mr. Robert Chirabo. Should we or should we not have this exercise?
Well, one would say you cut a coat according to your piece of cloth. And life is driven on priorities.
The Constitution of Uganda does not allow us to postpone an election. So, I don't want to do the work of the Minister of Finance. My work is to declare the need. Ministry of Finance is to find the funds. Parliament of Uganda is to appropriate them. My work is to define the need. I think on this chair, you need those different parties to come and say, because I don't know the coffers of Uganda. Maybe the money is somewhere, I don't know.
Oh, it is
Or maybe you know more than I do. Maybe it's not there. I don't know.
Or this may not be a priority.
Or this might not be a priority. I don't know. So, as an agency, we are required to declare our need based on our mandate and based on the government services and the holistic picture of this nation and its expectation. Submit it to our parliament, who are our representatives, and they will make the decision. They can say, no, there is no money, postpone, and we shall abide.
Well, what if you've ever been placed between a hard press and then there is a rock and you're between there? That is where we are now, because much said is we need this exercise. Much said is we have a year of election, and we know how our politicians, more so our brothers and sisters on the other side, can cling to anything. But life is also about priorities, and not forgetting that you can only cut a coat according to your piece of cloth. Now, do we have a cloth that can enable us have that tech saddle, or is this a priority that we can forego other things but have it? Let me get to some of the messages that are coming in from our viewers here. Now, good morning. I am David from Chibuli. Please let me know what happens to someone who lost an ID, also who wants to change the date of birth and have a new ID. Okay, we also have, I think Parliament should look for, well, this one says, I think Parliament should do all it takes to have these funds, but please kindly give us your name. It's a humble request. One is asking, when are you starting the exercise? I'm waiting for a job. People already looked through Madam Iti. Now, if it is 500 per month, I'm ready to work. Good morning, I'm Okelo Godfrey from Paya Sub-County Road District. My children have took photos 3 times since 2017, but the ID card is not out. What is the problem? Then good morning to you all. I thank you for bringing the ED of NIRA. My question is, after renewing my ID, do I go back home with it there and then, or I have to wait again for some months? My name is Mayamba Nusuru from Mbale City. And good morning. Kindly request for updates on the national identity card renewal. Well, it's what we are discussing. And good morning, host. I'm John in Jinja. Ask the ED. I got my ID in Masaka and now I work in Jinja, my home district. Will I be able to renew mine here, or I'll have to get back to Masaka? Well, let's go with those for now.
Okay, somebody's asking that they lost an ID. I don't know if they want to renew it during the mass enrollment exercise or they particularly want to renew it now. I want to renew it now. There's a form that you fill. You pay 50,000 shillings. You get a police letter. You approach your nearest NIRA office. You submit your form. You submit your payment slip. And your biometrics are taken afresh, and we process your ID.
But it seems a waiting of Jesus to return.
That is not true. There are 19 million cards daily. We have 16 million cards issued. So Jesus did not return before we issued those 16 million.
It's a long wait, Madam Edie.
It is true, it is a long way. Maybe I should answer the why. I did not get into the system components of the budget. But I would like to invite the members of the public to come and look at our equipment. The equipment Uganda acquired in 2013-2014 is the equipment we are using now. It is the same equipment we are using now. I put it to anyone in the public to give me their 10-year-old computer they are using now.
Very outdated.
if it works full day, if it's battery, if it's a laptop and not a TV, whereby when you remove it from the power, it goes off. At the time we acquired the laser printing card machines for personalizations, the ones for printing cards, there were 4. There were 4 machines, the laser printing. And I want people to listen carefully. There were 4 laser printing card personalization mobile machines. Their capacity per day was 25,000 cards a day. So collectively, they were doing 100,000 cards a day. Today, 2 are working. How many? 2. And on a good day, I want to emphasize a good day, they do between 1,000 to 2,000 cards. Those are our 10-year-old machines. So I want to put this question back to the public. I want to ask them. Meanwhile, in the other budget of 460 billion, which I gave you, the breakdown for the 3 items, these personalization machines, I did not give you their number because we need to replace the 4 of them and attempt to repair maybe 2 of the existing ones. So let us look at the NERA budget that is apportioned through the years. Let us look. Is there one where we buy a machine? If the answer is no, we can only operate to the extent of appropriation. And we know our country has a small basket and large needs. So it is within these constraints that you wait for Jesus to come for your ID. I dare say that in 2013, 2014, when the machines were new, people received their cards immediately.
Yes.
And the comparison should be made. What went wrong? What?
What went wrong?
What went wrong? What is different? Where is the problem? So I want us to come at this with a problem-solving mentality. In Uganda, it's easy to throw stones, even when you're in a glass house. But I want us to come together. Someone might say, why don't you get the NASA road machine? It's a good thought. But if you know anyone in the region, I know in the region there are 2 laser printing machines. If you know anyone who can lend us and we print quickly for free, we are ready.
Well, Madam Edie, time seems to be flying and there are quite a number of messages. But what I can assure Ugandans, we will find more time because some are not really related to the topic of mass registration, but still they have issues and I really feel for you, but just that we do not have enough time.
Maybe let me answer the other one of ID issuance. You don't have to go to the district where it was first issued. You can go to another district. Yeah, and this time, in the first exercise, we didn't have an online presence. In this exercise, we shall have an online presence, and hopefully it will improve to a certain extent the service delivery. I, however, need to emphasize that on the online presence, we shall not take your biometrics. We shall take your biodata, and then you shall walk into an enrollment point to take your biometrics. Then this one says that his daughters took photos 3 times since 2017, but they have not yet received a card. I mean, they have not yet received their need. I apologize, sir, and if off the screen he can give you the application IDs, I'll personally follow up that matter.
Well, as we move out to leave room for Ruben with sports, it was a heavy weekend. What is your final word to the viewer?
My final word to the viewer is that in 2013-2014, government carried out the same exercise in a period of 8 months. And it was the first time. But now it's not the first time. So we are confident as an organization that with funding made available, even if it's not all of it, but critical funding made available, we shall be able to start and complete this exercise. For this gentleman who wants a job, when we are advocating for funds, he better advocate that the salaries come in, because government may release money for cuts for the system and say, let the other people start, we shall find a way of remunerating them in future. So he might be excited, but he may have to wait for his salary. So it is all part of the funding process that we shall require. Thank you so much.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Madam Rosemary Chisembo, who is the Executive Director of the National Identification and Regulatory Authority. Thank you, Registration Authority. Thank you so much for your time. And of course, our viewers' messages are flooding in like nothing. But I promise another opportunity, maybe just to have her and you ask anything you want to know about NERA and their role. I'll leave room for Ruben to take us through sports updates. See you in the next hour. Have a lovely morning and keep it with us.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001.